Welcome back to my channel, where today we are diving deep into one of the most shocking discoveries in the world of rare coins. Imagine holding a simple piece of metal in your hand, a coin that looks ordinary at first glance, yet collectors and experts around the world are willing to pay up to $500,000 for it. Yes, you heard that right. $500,000 for a coin that most people would have spent without thinking twice. This is the incredible case of the 1988 10 francs coin, a coin that has stunned the numismatic community, shocked collectors, and has even made everyday people suddenly realize that the change in their pockets could be life-changing. But what exactly makes this coin so special? And why are collectors in the United States and across the globe obsessed with finding one? Let's unravel this mystery step by step. Now, when people hear about valuable coins, they usually think of old American pennies, silver dollars, or gold coins. But what most people don't realize is that some of the most valuable coins don't come from the United States at all. In fact, coins from Europe, Asia, and other countries have sometimes fetched higher prices than their American counterparts. The 1988 10 francs coin is a perfect example. At first glance, it doesn't look like something extraordinary. It was just a coin used in France before the euro currency took over. Millions were minted, and it was a part of everyday circulation. But here's the twist. Only a very small fraction of those coins had unique features, errors, and details that made them incredibly rare. And those are the coins that collectors today are chasing with relentless passion. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever thought that the coins lying forgotten in a drawer, a wallet, or a jar at home could be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars? Most people don't. That's why so many people spend rare coins without realizing what they had. And that's exactly what happened with the 1988 10 francs. At the time, people didn't notice anything unusual about it. They used it in shops, paid for food, and tossed it into their coin jars. But decades later, collectors discovered that some versions of this coin were unlike any other, and their rarity shot their value to astronomical levels. So, what makes the 1988 10 francs coin worth up to $500,000? It comes down to a combination of three critical factors: rarity, demand, and historical significance. First, rarity. Among the millions of 10 francs minted in 1988, only a small percentage had variations, minting errors, or pristine conditions that made them unique. For example, some had double strikes, some had off-center designs, while others had slight changes in lettering or spacing that set them apart from the rest. To a casual eye, these differences might seem meaningless, but to a collector, they are the difference between a coin worth just $1 and a coin worth $500,000. Second, demand. The numismatic market is fueled by competition. Collectors in the United States, Europe, and Asia are constantly searching for the rarest coins to complete their collections. When demand collides with rarity, prices skyrocket. And that's exactly what happened with this coin. Wealthy collectors are willing to outbid one another to secure a rare 1988 10 francs. And that's what pushed the value into the hundreds of thousands. And finally, historical significance. The late 1980s were a transitional time for France's currency, with the country preparing for changes that would eventually lead to the euro. The 1988 10 francs stands out as one of the iconic coins of that era, representing not just currency, but also a piece of history. And history always sells for a premium when it comes to collectibles. Now, I know what you're thinking. How can you tell if the 1988 10 francs coin you might come across is one of these rare $500,000 treasures? That's where attention to detail comes in. Collectors look at every inch of the coin, its design, edges, weight, condition, and even microscopic details. The tiniest error could make the difference between a coin worth pocket change and one that could change your life. For example, some 1988 10 francs coins were struck slightly off-center, leaving part of the design missing. Others have double strikes where the image was pressed twice, creating a shadow effect. And then there are coins in mint state condition, meaning they were never used, never scratched, and look exactly as they did the day they left the mint. These coins are especially valuable because so few survived in such perfect condition. Let's talk about the design for a moment. The 10 francs coin of 1988 featured Marianne, the national symbol of the French Republic, on one side. She represents liberty, reason, and the values of the French nation. On the reverse side, the coin showed its denomination and intricate patterns that highlighted France's artistic traditions. To an ordinary person, this was just another coin to buy bread or pay for the bus. But today, these designs add to the charm and desirability of the coin. Holding it in your hand feels like holding a piece of European history. And that sense of connection is priceless to collectors. But here's where it gets even more exciting. Some reports suggest that only a handful of these era 1988-10 francs coins exist today in top condition. We are talking fewer than a dozen confirmed pieces. Imagine that, out of millions produced, only a handful can command values of $500,000. This is why collectors are in a frenzy. The thrill of possibly finding one keeps people searching through old collections, estate sales, and even pocket change jars. It's like playing the lottery. Except instead of buying a ticket, you're simply checking the coins you already own. Now, you might be wondering, how do these coins reach such high prices? The answer lies in auctions. Rare coin auctions, especially in the United States, are known for setting jaw-dropping records. Wealthy collectors, investors, and even museums compete to own the rarest coins. And when two determined bidders want the same coin, the price can escalate beyond anyone's imagination. That's exactly how the 1988 10 francs coin hit the $500,000 mark. Auction after auction, its price climbed higher, shocking even seasoned collectors. Think about it this way. If you found one of these coins today, you could literally sell it and buy a luxury house in the United States, or travel the world in style. That's the life-changing power of a small piece of metal that many people once overlooked. And that's why people are fascinated by these stories, because it proves that treasure can hide in plain sight. As we continue this journey into the mystery of the 1988 10 francs coin, keep this in mind. The value of a coin is not just about what it's made of, but about its story, its rarity, and the passion it inspires in collectors. Every scratch, every detail, every imperfection tells a tale. And in the world of numismatics, those tales can be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. You surprised about how a simple French coin from 1988 could reach a staggering $500,000 in value? Then you're about to be even more shocked, because in this part, we are going to break down the exact reasons why some versions of the 1988 10 francs coin are considered priceless treasures. We'll talk about minting errors, rare varieties, collector grading systems, and the jaw-dropping auctions in the United States, where these coins achieved record-breaking sales. So if you think you've seen it all, just wait, because the details you're about to hear might make you rush to check every old coin lying in your home. Let's begin with the errors, because in the world of rare coins, errors are pure gold, and the 1988 10 francs is no exception. Imagine this. A coin is supposed to come out of the mint perfectly aligned, with its design, weight, and edges all uniform. But mistakes happen. Sometimes the coin gets struck twice, creating what's called a double strike. This means the design overlaps, and you can see a ghost-like shadow effect on the coin. Most people might dismiss it as a flaw, but collectors love it because it means the coin is one of a kind. Then there are off-center strikes. Picture the design of Marianne's face or the denomination of 10 francs slightly shifted, as if the press missed its exact mark. These off-center strikes are rare, and depending on how dramatic the shift is, the value can skyrocket. A slight off-center might make the coin worth thousands, but an extreme one could push it toward hundreds of thousands of dollars. And yes, some 1988 10 francs coins have exactly these kinds of errors.